Hey everyone, Temporal here, and
Come
for this
on, let's bring it
session
together.
we are reviewing a Diamond Lucio, which is of course named Fast
I will
Brig,
not
because
let
that
the
makes
Hello,
sense.
taste
hello.
I
of the
actually do
fell
think we'll see a little
display
bit of Brig
happen
as
to my
well, but this
pieces.
is mostly Lucio, Diamond, recently Masters, but they fell
Attackers
into Diamond.
incoming
Let's
in
see if we
30
can help them get
seconds.
back into Masters.
Now
If you
get the
guys are
ground
enjoying the content,
splashing.
please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
5, 4,
Yeah,
3,
Blah won't be happy. We're
2,
doing a Lucio review.
1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
In
I mean, I like the off-angle pressure in some ways. Let's set up here. So here you are.
1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
This amp isn't amazing. This is an amp that you hit in Koth. You hit an amp right out of spawn on King of the Hill because it sets you up in a situation where you guys are fighting for point positioning, and every instant matters for who's going to get the better positioning, who's going to have the spot that's set up well as a choke, because most of the points actually have pretty good chokes around them if you can get control of the point. So like every little bit of distance matters. These guys are set up. They've had a good 45 seconds to set up, stand exactly where they want, get exactly what they want. You can't beat them in a race anymore. So a amp out the gate here, not really helping. All it's doing is now putting you here. And now that you're in the vulnerable spot, the spot that you can get shoot at as you're going across, the spot that your team will get pressured as they're trying to rotate through, now you don't have amp. You just have regular speed. So we don't actually want our amp out the gate to start the match, unless it's Koth. So you go over here, and again, you helped your team get from here to here faster. Your speed was on most of them. It looks like you left Anna behind, but it was on most of them to help them get to here. But now, this part that's actually dangerous, you're choosing to go, no, you guys don't need my aura. It's more important that I apply off-angle pressure. Off-angle pressure is a thing. It's a valid thing. It helps teams get through chokes. It's not really what Lucio is going to do from here most of the time, though. Lucio, if you want to apply off-angle pressure, you go, oh, let me ride myself up here and let me apply my off-angle pressure from up here and still sort of have my aura down there helping the team out. We go vertical to apply off-angle pressure more often. Or, hey, once we're up here, let me go up here, and like once we're pushing around here, my team's pushing here, I'm still supplying speed or heals or whatever to my team while still getting some off-angle pressure. Is it as big as this off-angle pressure? No, it's not. Can you get to this spot to apply off-angle pressure faster than almost everyone else? Yes, you can. But now you're not giving your team any aura, heals, or speed. And they're in the more vulnerable spot. So this isn't really what we want to do. Like, there's some value to this, but it's not our peak value. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Blah. The name of that Lucio? Yeah, I commented on that one. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So that was... Okay, so here we are. You're here, you back up a little, you decide, wait, my team is actually all pretty weak, everyone's missing a fair amount of health. Fortunately, you are going to get your amp back here, and this is a perfectly reasonable healing amp. Perfectly reasonable healing amp. Your team is in rough shape. You're going to get a lot of people with it. You're doing this to stabilize a team that would otherwise be in trouble. Your team fell behind. This puts you back in it. Perfectly valid. Now, would you have been in this situation if you'd instead used your amp to get your team from here to here? Probably not. But hey. And by that, I mean your team would have more health. Okay. You're over here with your Genji. Yeah, I don't need us playing quite so far from our Rhine. If we're booping something in for our Rhine, though, that's fine. Why are we on heals here? So here you are. You boop this in, sort of. Your Doomfist is here. Okay. Good. Speed. Not sure why you're on heals. Not sure why you're on heals. Your Anna's missing some health, but I didn't really want to be on heals until I was here. I wanted to get to here first before I thought about heals, because now, again, I want to get to the place that I want to offer my aura quickly. I don't really need that amp, but you're gonna change it, right? Yeah, you are good. But why'd you come off the wall? Like, are you just going hippity-hoppity for fun? The wall's fine. Stay on the wall, ride around, keep shooting at the Reinhardt. Or shoot at Hanzo, and then hop off the wall. Like, why are you here going, I'm on, I'm off. I'm on, I'm off. You don't need to be on the ground here at all. Like, you should still be up riding around on this doing your work. There's not really a good reason for you to have popped off this wall like you did. You didn't need to mix it up in this fight as hard as you did. Your team's already gone, so it doesn't matter, but you didn't need to do that. And you don't really get anything better by doing that. If you're hard diving someone specific, sure, you might pop off the wall, but you weren't really. Unless you mean their Reinhardt, which no, you can't hard dive their Reinhardt. You can boop him, but can't hard dive him. Okay. I don't mind shooting at their Zarya. I don't. Their Reinhardt has his shield up, and you're not quite at an angle to get over it. And what you're looking to do is sort of maximize your ult charge. So shooting at their Zarya isn't terrible. Zarya's a bigger target than the others. On the other hand, at this particular moment, you really do have more to hit over here, and these are actually kind of easier shots for you too. Like you can go, hey, I'm going to be here, and these guys are either going to take damage. I can lead the shot left as they try to go behind their cover, so I can like shoot in a sense of first shot, second shot, third shot, fourth shot type thing. Like I can drag my shot like that, and I'm probably going to get more of them. I can hit them at a nice head height, and if it doesn't get them, it's going to suppress them and keep them over there for a little bit where they're not shooting at my team, which helps my team get in. I do like that you've made your off angle above your team here instead of totally separated by the walls. You have a bit more ability to offer your team aura here if you want, so I do like that. I just like your weapon play to be better. What are you aiming at?
Let's get you healed up.
Again, like, you can amp heal here, but it's not amazing. You're doing this because, what, you're Ryan, you're Zarya, missing a little health. Sure, you're Doomfist too, but they're not missing that much health. And more importantly, they're still in this vulnerable spot. Speed helps them through this choke more than heals. Heal amp is for like, oh shoot, we're behind, they pushed us, they did whatever, we're taking the fight, but we're behind, let's try to stabilize. Like, heal is, hey, let's stabilize. Speed is, let's avoid the problem in the first place, which is generally better, which you could have done here. Can't hard dive Ryan. Oh, you deleted it. Never mind. Okay, I'll bring this back up to normal speed. I wanted to talk about your shots a little, but so be it.
Yeah, time to heal up.
Speed during the grab. You didn't need the heals. You really didn't.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
Why are you on heals? Speed, for sure. Why are you bouncing over to heals?
Let's get patched up.
Are you doing this for your own evasiveness? Like, that's a thing, but you really didn't need it. You had a ton of extra health. Whatever. It's not like it's wrong. I mean, you're still denying them full charge, etc. That was foolish.
Party on the objective.
You have your cap. There's 3, so you can leave. Sure. Why are we just going through here? We're not even on the wall. We're just walking through here, jumping. Walking through here, jumping. Jumping is not a defense. Lucio gets a little bit more away with jumping when he's sticking near walls because he has the option to pop onto the wall. But what works even better is just being on the wall in the first place. Like, it really does. You might jump to change your height on the wall, to go up, to go down, to change direction. But being on the wall causes you to move faster in the first place. It causes you to break chokes at heights that aren't normal. Like, whatever. You mean you're not supposed to boot heals after beat? Yeah, funny. What if they go through 600 of that temperature? Then you should have won faster with speed, so that they didn't. but you guys know that. Okay. Oh! Bravo. You're ready for Masters. You ate the Fire Strike. Okay, little inside joke there, but that's okay.
Let's move it, people. Let's get you healed up.
Why are you up in front? It's not like diving as bad as Lucio or anything, but here you are. You're Anna, who is low health. You're just leaving behind before capping off. I don't love that. You know she's going to spend a nade because of that. She already did spend the nade, but even so, she didn't get to full health. You're now here. You're pushing up. Like, do you think there's staggers to be had? What's your plan here? Do you think you getting up here faster to join Genji is worth more than getting these three up here? Why would you do this? And if you do think it's worth more to get up here, well, it's got to be worth more because you're going to come around and boop someone in. So I don't know why you would go up here as one. Like, if you're going up here as one, it's to cut people off, to stop a retreat, to use boops, to go up to knock someone off so that, hey, they're not on the high ground anymore. It's not to just go shoot down main with your buddy. If that was the plan, you needed to bring the whole team with you. It's fine. Again, you're diving in here, like, you're diving in here now with just your Reinhardt when your team really isn't here yet, and you don't have, like, you're not moving. With Lucio, it's not about, like, let me dive people and attack them. It's let me dive them to move them. Yes, you might still end up going in and getting an assassination on a backliner, like a BAP, for example. But, like, you don't go straight to do that. You have to be sneaky with your walls if that's what you're going to do. And you also have to be sneaky with your walls to get around people to boop them in towards your Reinhardt, to boop them down off of high ground. Like, be sneaky with your walls. If we look at what you're doing, you got a little bit of sneak here, but this was because you were worried on health. This isn't sneaky. This is just in the open, in which case you realize your mistake and you go over here. This is sneaky. This is good. This is fine. Fine. Why are you now in the middle? Why are you here? If you'd stayed on this wall, you could have been way more annoying to this Hanzo. You could have rode around here, you could have rode around here, popped up here, and then been like, oh, hey, there's a McCree. And, you know, you obviously don't want to get flashed, but if he flashes you here, you don't care because he flashes you and he won't be able to hit the follow-up shot because you'll be falling. So, like, then you go, okay, let me ride back over here, and you boop him, and things like that. Or you then pop off on the Hanzo and you boop the Hanzo in. Like, we don't go towards the middle here for any reason. Unless we're actually diving on someone in the middle, and there was no one in the middle here to dive. Okay, you were trying to cross. I was a little too harsh on you. It wasn't a great rollout, but I was a little too harsh on you. You had something resembling a plan. That's like not even an outlandish concern. It feels like beat just doesn't do much anymore. The shield health just goes away so fast. It's still not a good reason to be on heals. Like, you still need to be you want to be on speed most of the time when heals is happening. And also, there's the rare situation where everyone's really low health, you pop a beat, and then your team is already brawling hard, no one really needs to move, so you actually amp heals underneath it to get everyone's real health back under the beat. That is a rare thing that occasionally happens that is correct. But most of the time that's wrong, and if people's health is okay when they have the beat, that's definitely wrong. And most of the time what you want, if the engage isn't already, my team is absolutely on top of them and just crushing them, and they're not kiting us at all, again, I would like to be on speed to make sure that my team can do more work. It's the same as, like, Mercy damage boosting. You using the speed to get yourself ahead, to get your team ahead, will cause them to need less healing when the beat is over. Oh, hey, there's McCree, and I'm in spawn now. Yeah, not if you engage him correctly, where his flash can't really catch you. But I get what you're saying. I gave Frogger 25 the other night to do unranked to GM fan hammer only. So a fair amount of dancing in front of the window. You're just on the ground here. Better. Yeah, your approaches are a little too direct.
Yeah, let's pick it up.
You're trying to go deep, you're trying to go hard at people, you're trying to Reddit, which is fine with me, but your approaches are too straight. Like, I don't want you to take these direct approaches, I want you to ride in on the walls on the side. And I'm not talking like, hey, my team is here, the opponents are here, and I have to go like way over here to get there. I'm talking like, hey, let's ride in on the wall type thing to get in to boop them in. And you can change where you are a little on the wall, etc. But you're a little too like, and then you're just like you're too close to what's going on.
Keep pushing forward.
Okay, we're doing some taxiing.
Need healing.
This looks like your Lucio. Do you dive this hard? Okay.
Let's get you healed up. No time.
So like you waited to taxi, but you still had to be the first one out, and you did it here as opposed to having done it out here. Now, in this case, doing it out here would have meant, hey, the Sonic Arrow saw you, but conceptually, this is where you'd be looking to peek because it's a different height than they expect people to peek at. And because it's a different height than they expect people to peek at, people aren't holding crosshairs on it. Like, you're the only one for anyone to shoot at right now, and that's not great. You're the only one for anyone to shoot at, and you don't have a wall that you can immediately latch onto. That's not good, because your movement is rather predictable when you don't have a wall to shoot on, go to latch onto. You can only go, hey, I can go in these directions, or I can go up, jump. Those are your only options. That's not amazing. When you have the wall, it changes what you can do. It gives you more ability to change your acceleration. Yes, Lucio can change his speed already with heal versus speed aura, but you can do it even more so when you have the wall because the wall makes you go even faster. It's also more options in terms of directionally where you can go. You're the only one that the opponents can see, so they all get to shoot at you. That's not really helpful. If we wanted to do that, we'd peek up here where we'd have potentially surprised them. Yes, I know Sonic. And we'd also be in a place where we'd have cover we could immediately duck right back behind if we didn't like, because we were wall riding on this corner, so we can hop right back behind the corner. Their crosshair isn't pre-trained on us. That's great. That's great. You're not like helping your team here by being a distraction because your team isn't here yet. You helped taxi them out here and then you got bored and came up ahead by yourself. This isn't helping anyone. This is just chancing you getting eliminated.
Check this out.
Okay. This is a little sneakier. Sure. Good. It's Hanzo, so it wasn't going to work. You were never going to get him deep enough that he couldn't wall climb back up, but okay. Sure. No, I just mean my ambitions are far higher than my ability on Lucio, so I feed. That's fair.
Oh, yeah.
Just go practice wall riding. Practice wall riding and practice his weapon play. Like, when it comes to Lucio, people who are like, oh, I know it can be done on Lucio and then can't do it, that's fine. It takes a lot of work to be good on Lucio. His weapon is one of the harder weapons to use in the game, and his wall riding is a different skill than most of the other skills in the game. So those are two things that you specifically need to practice, and Lucio is a great hero to go practice in FFA. It's a little annoying for Lucio that FFAs... it's a little annoying if you're doing the FFAs that play on maps that aren't in the game, like Chateau, etc. So like you sometimes want to intentionally pick the FFAs that are on just abbreviated versions of real maps because at least, hey, that's a little more the stuff that you would want to learn to wall ride on, learn some of the rollouts for, even though those aren't perfect either. But he's a good hero for FFA to get practice on.
Let's up the tempo.
I understand.
Let's get you healed up.
Thank you.
I'm so glad your team is getting help rotating. So glad.
I am loving this.
Personal amp.
Yeah, time to heal up. Check this out. Oh, let's
Right idea. SK made a tutorial a while ago that recommended rebinding jump to scroll wheel, right click on Lucio. What are your thoughts on this? Go for it if you want to. I don't have hard opinions on the controls for Lucio.
60 seconds remaining.
I understand what the value of separating yeah. I don't particularly like my concern with that sort of gets into I don't really like changing the keybinds between heroes because you're gonna have to play multiple heroes. So like some of this for the people who are really just Lucio players makes sense, but like if you're a Lucio player, you're also going to be playing some Mercy, some Brig, maybe some BAP, maybe occasionally you go play other roles on the ladder, and then you have your jump bound to something else. And I don't feel that that's good personally. Now, if truly what you're doing is you're playing Lucio and you want to be Lucio and that's what you want to do well and you only play a little bit of the other main supports, that might make sense, but I'm not a huge fan of rebinds because you're not going to do those rebinds. Now, there's a few that I'll do, and maybe that makes sense. Like, for example, I've rebound melee to right click on Winston as an example. But like, I like to keep the rebinding to a minimum, and I've seen a lot of Lucio players go overboard to make it better. Now, I get it. There are some, you can make it a lot more comfortable, but hey. What should the goal of a Lucio be? Enable your teammates, disable them. Like, that's probably the simplest way to put it. You have speed to enable your team to make plays, to enable your Reinhardt. Oh, I'm on the wrong teams here. Enable your teammates, disable them. Enable your Reinhardt to make plays by speeding for him. Enable your McCree. Enable your Anna by helping them get out of rough situations. Help your Zarya stay in fights longer to farm between fights before she can get out. Use this to enable your team a bunch. Find creative ways to use this to enable your team a bunch. And then don't let the opponents do things. Use your boop primarily to deny their McCree the off angle, deny their Hanzo the off angle, knock their Reinhardt in so that your team has a nice concave on him and can eat him alive. Use your wall ride plus weapon play to pressure their backline support, to pressure someone who would otherwise be dangerous. That's what you're looking to do. You're a support, and your job is to go, hey, which part of my kits can I use to help my team perform better? Which part of my kits can I use to make the opponents perform worse? And every once in a while, or depending on if I feel I'm really got it, or do I have someone I can work with like a diva that I can dive with to maybe actually eliminate someone else. Otherwise, it's just a little pressure dive on them to deny them healing their Reinhardt, which is disabling their Reinhardt, which is enabling my Reinhardt to deal with him. That's what you're looking to do as Lucio. Oh no. That is a long jump that you're going for there. So you're here. We've used our amp. I don't know why you'd go down straight on this as opposed to having come over here. Like, I really don't. And you then go over here. Yeah, no. And it's going to take you forever to get back. Forever. It's a long time on heal when we were trying to get back there. Yes, you were missing health, but you were going to get the health back anyway. Good. You overjumped there, and you knew you overjumped there. Like, what is this? Uh-huh. Sure. Why did you jump out here? Why did you jump off this wall and project yourself out? Like, this took you so far away from the wall. You can't relatch onto the wall from here. There just wasn't a good reason to do it, and now your movement is extremely limited and controlled. And you're slow to get back into the fight. Mm-hmm. Sure. So this is fine. You're gonna move him, aren't you? That's fine. Mm-hmm. What? Oh, wow. Okay. Whenever you feel Lucio, you feel kind of useless, so I avoid playing him. Sure. So start with what's easy. And what's easy is going to be, I want to wall ride near my team, offering them the appropriate aura. I primarily want to pick Lucio when I have a Reinhardt, when I have a Brawl Tent combination, and I might want to ride on something like this near my Reinhardt, and I'm going to have speed aura up, except when my Reinhardt wants to go in. If I think my Reinhardt wants to go in, or I think my Reinhardt wants to pull out, I'm going to swap, I might put speed aura up. If everyone's just chilling like this, nothing is going on right now, I might go healer. If I think my team is rotating up, I might go speed aura. But you have to go, hey, the first thing I'm going to focus on is my aura control, and I'm going to decide if my team is just poking, I'm going to be on heal aura. If my team is rotating, I'm on speed. If my team is trying to push up to get something done, like my Reinhardt is pushing around the corner to do something, to get swings, I speed because he's one of the best beneficiaries of my aura. And then I might swap to heal while he's in there swinging if he's firmly swinging. And then once I see him start to pull out, I swap to speed so that he can pull out more quickly. So start by focusing on your Reinhardt. Play, if you can, on a wall corner around him. That's the corner that he's trying to control. And just sort of work on controlling that aspect of it, where you get a little bit of practice of all of your kit. You get to practice thinking about your aura control. You get to practice enabling someone specific. You get to practice your wall riding. And because you're practicing your wall riding here, you get to practice trying to shoot people from above, as well as potentially booping their Reinhardt. You can ride around this corner, boop their Reinhardt in for your Reinhardt to take, or if your Reinhardt is in too much trouble, booping their Reinhardt out. So you get practice with your boops, you get practice with your weapon, you get practice with your wall riding, and you get practice thinking about your aura. This isn't like the in all situations best way to play Lucio, but this will get you a solid B+ if you do it well, and it's going to teach you a little bit about all of your kit. Eigenwald is a good example of a good post-release map. Yes, but you'll remember that they had to rework it for that to be true. This wasn't here originally. So this was like the forced choke, etc. And that was kind of more similar to some of the other stuff where it's just like, this is what we're doing, pushing into a Paris first, pushing into a Horizon first, where it's like, really? This is what the offense has to push through? They fixed it, but originally it had some issues. But yes, I agree. It is a good post-release map now. I think you could reduce the cast time on beat, and that would be fine. You could reduce the cast time on beat. I also think it would be fine to decrease the amount of ult charge it takes to charge beat. I think either of those would be perfectly fine. I wouldn't want to increase Lucio's damage. I wouldn't want to increase his healing. I wouldn't want to increase his speed. Yeah. If I was to tweak Lucio, it would probably be beat that got tweaked, and it would be something along the lines of either cause it to charge faster, so require less total damage, heals, whatever to get. It might be cast faster. It could be that. Or potentially I would make it fall off slower. So I would make it deteriorate a little bit slower so that you could get maybe an extra second out of beat before it's totally deteriorated. If I was to buff Lucio, it would probably be one of those things. No, Lucio doesn't need an increased knockback from boop. Not at all. Lucio has one of the stronger knockback distances on boop in the game, in fact, if memory serves. And he's got a really low cooldown on it. Okay, I should re-micro this fight. A little, at least. Here we go. Pushing cart. You're going to swap to heals for your McCree. Your McCree doesn't care. He's going to stand in the open. This is good. Your team right now is in a poke phase, so you actually want to be on heals. If your team's going to advance, you can go speed, but heals is right while they're just sitting in this poke phase. I do not believe that your team wants to push heals. Okay, now you can swap. The grab's already out. You can go ahead and just swap 2 heals. Not sure. Okay, you're on speed for your Rhine, maybe? And now you're on heals in the grab.
60 seconds.
And you're going to hold speed. Sure.
Speed boost. Nothing's gonna stop us.
One of those arrows could have, in fact, clipped your head, but okay.
Let's hustle. Let's get you healed up.
30 seconds
Better.
remaining.
You almost you thought a little harder about getting your team across with speed. Didn't actually happen, but you thought about it a little harder.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
Why? Currently, the only one in the fight is your Reinhardt, who's nanoed, and your McCree, who totally has cover. Like, your team isn't here yet. You don't want to use this beat yet. You might use your beat for this fight. That's totally fine with me. But this beat isn't saving anyone's life. Your Anna is fine. Your McCree and your Ashe both have both distance and cover available to them. Your Reinhardt is still full health and nanoed. Why? You can amp heals here, or you can amp speed here, absolutely, though you don't have it, but you wouldn't beat. Like, you wouldn't beat until your Reinhardt... Here, let's rewind to show this. Cool. Reinhardt was nanoed early. That sucks. But your team is perfectly fine. Other than your Anna, but she has cover available to her. And your Reinhardt still isn't on top of his target yet. So, like, now you're beating for your Reinhardt, who still isn't on top of his target and has a nano. You're probably going to have to nano your Reinhardt, or beat your Reinhardt earlier than we'd like, because our Anna is going to be out of line of sight, because she just took a bunch of damage. But, like, we wanted to beat... They backed off this hard, and they wouldn't have backed off this hard from just the nano Reinhardt, but, like, conceptually, you're all stagnant. This is more like when we'd be interested in beating, like when we're actually in and when our nano's almost over type thing, or when our Reinhardt gets lower, or when more of our team is in the fight like they are now. Like, this is, you totally stacked ults, and your McCree's doing it too, to be fair, but you totally stacked ults when you wanted to get value out of the first ult, you wanted to stagger your ults, not stack them. Unless they threw an ult to answer your ult, you wanted to go, hey, Nano is making space for us, Nano is putting pressure on the enemy team, and now that the pressure's starting to wear off, or they're starting to answer the pressure, maybe my Ryan's getting low, maybe the rest of my team is in, and we can go, hey, I'm going to let them push even harder. But, like, you didn't let your team push mildly harder by doing the beat, but that's not really what we want. We want to be like, hey, I get the value of 1 to this. If your team had a Zen and they'd used Transcendence, would you have beat it at the same time? Of course not intentionally. So why are you in this situation where no one on your team needs to be saved by the beat, going, I'm going to beat at the same time as my nano? Well, you shouldn't. Unless you need to save someone, in that case, totally fine. But unless you need to save someone, you don't want to beat while the nano is still doing work. The nano might not be doing work. Once the Reinhardt is down to like half or a third health, the other team might not really be afraid of him anymore. They might not be surrendering space. They might not be kiting. Then it might make sense to beat. Or if you have more people in, where it's like, hey, they're hard focusing my McCree. They're hard focusing my McCree that's in, my Ashe that's in, etc. Absolutely, you can beat because now you're enabling them that are getting work done, etc. But your beat was not a very good beat. Like, it really was not, and it's probably going to be the difference in capping here. The opponents don't have any ults, it might not be. Like, yeah, they've got their Nano and their Hanzo ult, their Dragon Strike. Fine, stabilize. We're gonna boop this out. Why aren't we on speed? Why aren't we on speed to help our team kite that Nano Rhine? They have a dragon coming and we're on heals. Why are we on heals with the dragon? Like, you're missing health, sure. So you're doing this, you're accepting that my team doesn't need help, I do. You go speed, good. And then you immediately get away from the dragon, go heals. You wanted to be kind of close to this dragon, with speed up if you can. Preferably on the wall so that you have some avoidance so that you can stay alive. But like that's what you're thinking. I need to be sort of near the dragon so I can offer speed to anyone that's maybe stuck in it so that they can get out. Maybe you knew everyone was out by now. Maybe. Nope, because you're going back here to do this, and then you're chilling back here on heals. Okay. Character with huge ability to wall ride gets caught by ability that only hits the ground. Okay. Yeah, you might be complaining, I was on the cart, etc. Sure, but why weren't you here instead? Why weren't you here instead? Why weren't you back up here instead? People should go through a castle instead of a cross bridge out of spawn for attacking third? Usually. I don't think so. Yeah, you're not finishing this. With 0.6 meters, you're looking really hard for the key boob, but yeah, not happening. Okay, obviously we'll watch the second round and see if something else becomes most important, but the things that most jump out about your gameplay is you forget about your backline. This is not me complaining about, oh, Reddit Lucio is wrong. I'm not complaining about that at all. But you forget about your backline in the pre-fight phase. In the, hey, I would like to get my team up to where the team fight is going to occur phase, you were like, oh yeah, I'm waiting. People are sort of here, and now I'll go forward, and my Reinhardt and my Zarya will sort of come with me, and they'll get speed, and my Anna and my McCree will get left behind. And now I've just created more distance between my front line and my back line, which is something that can actually be exploited. Like, these guys are late to the fight because there's corners in the way, etc. So that's not really something that we want. We need to be more aware of that. We need to be more aware of, hey, I'm bringing my back line into the fight. I'm bringing my back line across this bridge that's on the screen right now. Like, that's something that we need to be more aware of. Another thing that we need to be more aware of is our approach into fights. We're a little too happy to just go, hey, I'm up on the wall, I'm off the wall. I'm up on the wall, I'm off the wall. I'm just sort of here, etc. We're not really using the walls. We're a little too like, oh, I can just sort of fight maybe sometimes near a wall and hop on it and immediately hop off. No, the wall itself is a thing that you're pretty happy to actually spend a lot of time on. It's not just like a, as you level up on Lucio, it's not just a, I touch the wall. It's a, I actually use the wall. I'm comfortable on the wall. I live and breathe the wall. Like, the wall is great. Will I come off the wall as part of a dive? Sure, I'm comfortable enough on the ground to get to another wall that I want to use. You're a little too comfortable with just like, oh, well, I'm a Lucio. I'm not quite a ground Lucio, but I'm a ground Lucio that's just now got my skates. Like, just now, let me do a little bit of, hey, hop on the wall off type thing. Oh, hop on the wall to go do a dive off and then don't get myself onto another wall to do more work. So you're too willing to do that, and especially you're too willing to like go straight into enemies, or like I'd use a little bit of wall to get into enemies. That's not really what we want to do. We don't want to take this big long thing out here to get on enemies, because then we're not offering aura. But we do want to go, hey, I go up on the wall, up to the outside, and then I come in over here to hit the enemies, to get at the back line, or to get at the front line that I want to boop that way, or want to boop in back that way. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm hopping, I'm doing my thing, and then I go straight at you, or mostly straight at you. I do want to use the wall to come in from the side. I do want to use the protection and the speed of the wall to get me more safely in at the side to do this. I don't want to kind of go straight, which you do a little too often. And then finally, we'd have to talk about your beats. Like, this beat was bad. This beat was bad, and there wasn't nearly enough pressure on you. Yes, you were short on time. Yes, your Anna was low health. There wasn't nearly enough pressure on you to force this beat here. So it should have instead been a better beat later. Which supports have most to lose by dueling the Reddit Lucio? I'm not sure it matters, because you have to. Like, if the Reddit Lucio is going to force himself into a duel with you, you are going to have to take it. You can try to retreat from the duel towards teammates who will help you out, but you can't just ignore him. So I'm not sure it matters which support has the most to lose by dueling the Reddit Lucio, unless you're saying, like, which supports should affirmatively take it versus which one should try to, like, avoid it. And in terms of that, the answer is Lucio and Brig are going to be the ones to take it. and others aren't because others have more important things to do. Like others are going to go, yes, I'll take it if Lucio brings the duel to me. Yes, I'll try to check Lucio before he gets to me, but I would prefer to kite towards my team so that they can help me deal with it in the form of Anna, in the form of Zen, even in the form of Moira. If Moira's paired with another support, like an Anna or a Bap, she can potentially fight the Lucio, like she can potentially actively fight the Lucio. Um, but in most situations, she won't be. She'll have like a Lucio on her team. And the ones who don't lose a ton by stopping and fighting the Lucio are more going to be the Brig and the Lucio. But everyone potentially has to fight the Lucio. You can't just ignore the Lucio and hope he'll go away and be like, well, he's just a Lucio. No, these guys will get good and they can do real damage with their weapon, especially if you're not paying attention to them and making it hard to hit yourself. So like you have to fight the Lucio as basically any support. Mercy obviously doesn't fight, she runs from it, but that's how Mercy interacts with the world. That's fine. Um, but like in terms of, oh, they're here and I'm happy to just sort of fight them in my own backline and I don't really need to kite to go join teammates. I mean, I guess you would say it's Lucio and Brig, but again, even Lucio and Brig are going to be fighting Lucio while in line of sight of their Anna, so they can't actually lose, while in line of sight of their Zen, so they, aren't in any real danger of losing. Yeah, you got it, Nard.
Hey, hey. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
No problem.
Defend objective A.
Oh, you'll see. Here we go.
Okay, you whip shot to activate Inspire, but then you don't have a good place to go, so your Inspire isn't getting any value. I don't love this. I'm not even sure I'd have been willing to play this. Oof, your comp is messy. Okay. You're stuck as Brig against a comp that is Brawl, 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 Poke Brawl Hybrid, Poke. So you're stuck as Brig against a comp that has no divers for you to counter and no divers for you to support. Okay. This sucks. So keep as much Inspire uptime as you can. Pack your Anna, pack your Hanzo. Slow people down when they go after your Bastion, but this sucks. Basically, what you'd do is you'd stand here in third person, because standing here in third person to try and get early whip shots doesn't actually do anything for you. It slows down their approach ever so slightly, but your Anna can't really heal you. You have a tough time getting back to your team. And if you hit someone with an Inspire, by the time you get back to your team, you're on like the last tick or two of it, so it's not really doing you any good to activate Inspires. Up here, you'll just get overrun by the amount of Brawl elements that they ran, so you have to play back here and just be ready when they try to hard rush your Bastion to whip shot him out to get the Inspire going and to pack your Hanzo if your Hanzo takes angles. This positioning isn't good, but it's the best positioning that you're going to have in this setup.
Thank you. My barrier's about to go.
No, you can't push a Hanzo. You especially can't push a Hanzo without Bash.
Let me touch that up. My shield's up.
What? Okay. Sure, you can walk up to your Arista shield and whip shot people through that. You can't go here. You can't do this. Okay. You don't actually need to like go over here to support your Hanzo. You can again mostly be here, throw packs when your Hanzo takes the angle, which is what we want him to do. If you have the chance when this Orisa shield looks healthy, yes, you can walk up here and whip shot people from behind the Orisa shield to keep your Inspire going. That is good. But I don't really want us going over here unless we see something that we're confident that we can 2v1. Yeah. Wasted pack. pushing out after their shadow that didn't get value while your Rhine is nanoed, sure. It's not usually a good condition for, it's not usually good for Brig to push this aggressively, but your team does have a lot of space. Hope that whip shot comes up in time. It does. Good.
Love you. That could be better.
Okay.
My barrier can't take much more.
Repigging that didn't make sense. So, I'm definitely being micro here. I know you couldn't bash, so you closed, but because you chose to close the angle here and he was able to charge on you while you couldn't bash him, your shield is gone immediately if you peek. Your shield is gone immediately. You were never going to get this bash off. You never had the option to reopen this angle. Nope, not real. Oh, and you even went like that. Okay. Why no third-person corner peeking? Third-person corner peeking would be fine. Third-person corner peeking here would have been fine. That's where I would have liked our Brig to default to. But then our Brig had the option to step up here and whip shot people through the Orisa shield when the Orisa shield was healthy. Not when the Orisa shield was weak, but when the Orisa shield was healthy. So the play would have sort of been live here, go here for whip shots just to keep Inspire going and to stop the team that was mostly a brawl team from advancing because the boop slowed them down, and then watch over here for packing your Hanzo. Maybe you end up over here to help your Hanzo with someone that tries to push him alone, but mostly this is what we expected. Now we're not getting corner peeking because this fight has just evolved to its brawl. Who had Mercy earlier? No, I think it was Anna on this team the whole time, and on the other team, I don't think they had Mercy. Okay. It's okay. Whip shot to slow down the advance. Look for the option.
Feel better soon.
Oh, the team walked out and then swapped. Got it. Again, I'd rather third-person shield peek this than just be constantly swinging. Not I'd rather. It's more correct to third-person with your shield jammed into this wall or your shield jammed into this wall if we're curious about what's going on over here, not to just constantly be swinging, but so be it. You don't want to be here. You're just blocking your Bastion's line of sight.
I will shield you.
And I don't really like you trusting your Rhine shield for that as much as I liked trusting your Orisa shield when you could see itself. Shield up. Okay, bash into rally, sure. Or no, you rallied while you were in the ground, my bad. You can freeze.
60 seconds remaining.
I'm not convinced I would have been willing to use that rally the way you did. Like, let's take a look here.
I will shield you.
You're here. You caught in the grab, and you immediately respond to the grab with rally. If this team has Blizzard, you just donated rally. But you probably know that you want to get off of Brig. Surprisingly, you're actually more okay on Brig now because you have a Genji that you can enable, but you probably know that you want to get off of Brig, and you've probably wanted to get off Brig this whole time. So yeah, I'm going to be okay with this rally. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And the reason I'm getting into that is because Rally, of course, was going to lose to Grab Blizzard. Like, Rally was in no way going to protect there. They didn't have Blizzard, but the ult tracking likely isn't accurate enough to know that.
My ultimate is charging.
Okay. Fun, but pointless. Okay, that's fine. It wasn't a huge amount of time, but that was enough time to justify the 200 life.
Stop the pain.
Nothing's gonna stop me.
Ultimate.
Audio medic.
Supercharger is online.
Yeah, let's move it, people. Feel the healing beat.
So this is sort of what I'm talking about, or was talking about between rounds. You're coming out. Cool.
Nothing's gonna stop me.
Great. Okay, is your team ready to take an engage? No. No, your team isn't really ready to take an engage. Kind of close, but not ready. Let's watch you. You're going to go over there. Cool. That's a little bit of crossfire. Okay, if you're building ult charge, so be it, but you have to make the decision that you building ult charge is worth more than getting your Reinhardt and Orisa back to this fight faster. Is it? Is it really? Is it? Now you're not even building ult charge. Okay. Now you're going to maybe go join the fight? You're just missing? You just don't know what's happening? So you're going to come down over here.
Healing beat. That's
And again,
not
this is
right.
pure greed ult charge building that you're doing now. Okay. So we've spent the last, 6 seconds just in ult charge mode. And just in ult charge mode has gotten us 9% ult charge. I don't think that's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. I'd have much rather my team was able to take this fight 2 seconds faster.
You hear that?
You amped from too far away. You needed to speed until you were closer.
Let's hustle. Let's get patched up.
Which team has advantage between a rally engage and a Valk engage? Rally engage.
Up the tempo.
Engaging.
Yeah, let's move it, people. Move.
My ultimate is ready.
Yeah, time to heal up.
Right idea, but you didn't get it done. So, here you are. You're coming back. Your team's already in the fight, so you're going to go. And your decision is, hey, I'm going to disable the opponents, or I'm going to try to get an elimination here. Great. Right up the side.
Yeah, time to heal up.
Fine. And now you didn't get it done, so you need to get out of here. You're not going to continue exist here. You're going to get out.
Beat.
Fine. Sure. Okay.
Heal up.
Speed to get to your teammates that you want to heal. Fine.
Liz, pick it up.
Understood. Affirmative. Understood.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Take your poke. Take your angled poke.
Right in the ball.
Sure, that's fine. We probably didn't actually need the amp to confirm the elimination there, but it was a good elimination. We wanted to make sure we had it.
Hang in there.
Move to the beat. Time for an encore.
Okay. You were really slow in that heal swap. So, here you are. This is fine. You're just rushing to point as you should be.
Healing
Cool.
boost.
You used your amp because, hey, you were trying to get back. I'm not sure why you swapped 2 heals here specifically, but whatever. Flux is out, so we're on speed, trying to get out of it. We don't quite get out of it. I don't know why, when we didn't quite get out of it, that we're swapping back to speed. We just got lifted by a Flux. We 100% have to be on heals. 100%. Not an option.
Nanoboost administered. 30 seconds.
Time to accelerate.
The payload
Team is exploring all the ways to have a bad comp. We're now running Tracer Genji against May McCree with Rhino-Rissa. Eh.
Let's get you healed up.
I mean, they're sort of seeing what they have and going, well, we have a Lucio, we have an Ana, like, we have a Genji. Oh, so that means we can add a Tracer, right? It's dive. And you say that, but like, yeah, maybe it's not great to run your dive into these two, but it's pretty great to run your dive into these two. These tanks don't fare well against dive. If we want to hit some coordinated dives on the tanks, we can shred them.
No time. Let's get patched up.
Okay, so here we are, we're on speed, while behind the wall, while reloading. We hear our shatter, and we swap to heals, which is disappointing. Please immediately swap back to speed. Immediately swap back to speed. And then you went right back to heals. Why? Why when they're like you're just like go, let me crossfade. Like is there thought going into this into what you should be on? You weren't crossfading there to make yourself more evasive because the team was lying flat on the team was just getting up. They didn't have control over their heroes yet. You don't need to swap back to heals to make yourself more evasive. This is clearly just a habit. You shouldn't just habitually swap between these. You actually have to have thought. Sometimes you start going, hey, I'm going to make my swaps a little random when I'm being shot at because it makes me specifically harder to hit, but that's a greed thing. That's a thing that you're doing when you specifically are in trouble. When the opponents have been flattened by a shatter, you have to be on speed, and there's not a good reason to be swapping back to heals.
Oh, let's break it. Damn.
This is a better beat. This is a better beat than you did before. This is continuing your aggression. You've staggered it. You got the shatter value, and now you go, okay, now we're going to get the beat value. So this is better, yes.
Audio medics.
Why are you on heals? What? Like, you went here.
Oh, let's break it.
Great.
Damn.
Your team is fine. Your team is fine. Yes, they took some damage. Yes, I know they took some damage, but your team is going to push a bit with the beat. The other team is going to surrender some space from the beat, or they're going to try to huddle in their lamp, in which case they'll get crushed, which is fine with you. We've hit our beat, even if it doesn't get anyone. This is going to do what we need it to.
Audio
Why are we swapping heals? And this isn't like, oops, I was accidentally already doing it. You just pressed Q. You know what you did. You have a bunch of extra health, and so does your team. You don't need heals. You don't. You might at some point go, hey, I'm going to heal a little bit, but you don't need heals. You need speed. This heal can't be to make you more evasive. No one's even looking at you. No one's even looking at you. And you're just flipping back and forth. You're just like, I'm supposed to press this button, press this button, press this button, press this button. No.
team up for special attack.
It's gonna make you feel better.
Why? Why did we... Whatever. I mean, I can live with that one. I don't love it.
It's gonna make you
This
feel
one,
better.
I'm going to pretend you swap to heals because you're in the air and you can't really, you're going to keep your momentum because you're in the air. So you're thinking I might as well give people healing while the speed isn't helping me. But honestly, I expect your team to be continuing to try to push right now. So I'd still want you to be on speed. And I don't really think that's what you're thinking. I think this is just, you habitually just press the button sometimes. Yeah, you, come on.
Hey,
At 60 seconds.
let's move it.
Double
Heal up. Double time.
Why are you fighting the Zarya head on? So, like, you go like this. I'm good with this. I don't want this. Like, this I'm okay with. I don't want to follow the Zarya out here. I don't. I could have rode on this wall and then continued riding this way. I could have rode on this wall and then just flipped around and continued riding this way. There wasn't really a situation where I wanted to follow the Zarya out here. There's not. Yes, we're pushing for staggers. No, I don't want to be here. I now don't have any wall that I can immediately get on. And this isn't really better for me than just riding out here and being backskating across this wall as I shoot at the Zarya. My angle actually just gets better and better as she backs up. And then maybe once I feel like, hey, I've got amp or whatever, maybe I come back this way and I try to come across and boop her off or something. But like, I'm not going to fight her out here from the same direction as my team. Why would I do that? With no walls in sight for me to hop onto. This is no. I don't care that she got the elimination. You're still wrong. Oh, did you not get the elimination? Okay, good. I mean, we look at this, and this was better. This is what we want. The time that you actually got the elimination was, hey, I'm going to come up a little bit on the outside, and my actual strike is from the side, not I went forward at you. No, okay, maybe still didn't get it, but hey. I'm supposed to have a reason to press my buttons. I feel personally attacked.
Oh, time to accelerate. Let's get you healed up.
冻住，不许走！
Move to the beat. I'm just getting started.
Stop the payload.
That's fine. They're going the other way. Didn't really need that amp, but okay. Okay.
Victory.
Okay. Break the habit. We don't need to just spam our crossfade. We don't. You're not always just spamming your crossfade, but as I watch closely, you clearly have times when you're just spamming your crossfade cuts. Now, you probably see that, hey, some people just spam their crossfade sometimes. Well, some people do. Some very good people do, but they have a reason for that spamming of the crossfade, and it's, hey, they're actually under pressure, and they're intentionally making themselves more evasive, harder to hit. You're spamming crossfade just 'cause sometimes. You're not being aimed at. You're not in a situation where, oh, hey, I need pressure off of me, etc. You're just like, hey, I'm in, so I'm supposed to be spamming crossfade, so I'm harder to hit. Is anyone looking at you? Is anyone paying attention to you? Are the enemies actually able to shoot on you, or are they lying on their back? No. If we're spamming crossfade, it's because we're actually under some pressure and we're trying to make ourselves harder to hit. If we're spamming crossfade, we are one way or another going, hey, the teammates that are with me are for some portion of time not going to get the appropriate aura. We are making the decision that they are not going to be getting the appropriate aura. So we better be getting some value out of it. It's a very greedy thing to spam crossfade. Like, it's because either you're in a situation where your team is pushing to try to clean something up, and this would be the correct aura to be on, or you're in a situation where your team needs to stabilize, and you're instead doing speed to try to, you're instead mixing in speed to try to help yourself, make yourself harder to hit, and this would be the right thing to be on. So spamming crossfade is a greedy thing. You have to remember that this ability, if just applied to one person, this ability called Lucio's auras, either one of them, isn't terribly powerful if it's just on one person. Lucio's auras are not terribly powerful on just one person. What makes Lucio powerful as a hero is that Lucio's auras can hit multiple people, and that Lucio has really no cooldown going between them. So Lucio can be very fine with his scalpel of, okay, exactly how are we doing this, exactly what are we applying, when and where, and he's got the mobility with his skates. Those are totally skates. Those are not Lucio skates. To apply it where it needs to be applied. And, speed helps apply auras where they need to be applied. So we can't just spam the button. We really need to think about this habit, recognize that we have this habit, and understand, wait, why am I pressing this? If I'm just spamming the button, I can't spam it in a predictable way. I need to spam it in an unpredictable way. So it might be press, 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 press. But I'm really trying actually to avoid this. This is a I'm in trouble or I'm under pressure situation. I want to actually be giving the right aura. When my team is rotating in, that's generally going to be speed. When my team is trying to clean something up, that's generally going to be speed. When my team is in a poke war, that's going to be heals. When my team is, in a relatively even trade and no one's moving too much, that's going to be heals. When my team has been pushed down or something, got caught in a grab, has made a mistake and got punished but hasn't lost anyone yet, that might be amp heals. Like, that's how we want to do this. That's how we want to think about this. Can you do things like go, hey, I'm on speed. When I hop off the wall, I go into heals and I'm healing myself or I'm healing my team, either one, etc., and it's slowing down my team's advance? Yeah, you can justify it, especially if your team needs a little healing, but you really want to be thinking about what does my team need and am I offering the right thing? You can absolutely be greedy and go, hey, I have to survive before my team does, and that's true. You do have to survive. It's more important that you survive generally than that you offer your team the exact right aura, but the thing about being a better player is figuring out, well, okay, it is more important that I survive than that my team does, but I'm not actually in any danger right now, or the danger I'm in is minimal compared to the advantage I get by giving both my Reinhardt and my Zarya speed. That kind of thing. Okay. So that's going to be the first thing I'm going to tell you, and yes, I am harping on it pretty hard. Fix that. And it's going to take some work to fix this. So, spend 10% of your brain power, 15% of your brain power while playing to think about, wait, am I just spamming crossfade for no reason right now? I need to cut that out. I need to have a reason. I need to be under pressure if that's what I'm doing. So fix that. After you fix that, I want you to, this is not me having any hate of Reddit Lucio. I'm not saying fix your crossfade because I hate Reddit Lucio. I'm not saying that. I also am not saying pay attention to your backline because I hate Reddit Lucio. I'm perfectly fine with you diving their backline. I'm perfectly fine with you going up and trying to knock Zarya off the edge. All of that is totally fine with me. But I want your team engages to happen in such a way that your front line isn't up here with you while your back line is still around a corner. And hasn't made it to the fight yet. Is still like, hey, we're coming back from spawn. You helped the front line go forward. You didn't help the back line go forward. And whoops, we don't get to do this. And this happened multiple times where it's like, oh, let me sort of wait for my team to get here. I'll speed everyone forward, but I get more and more ahead of my team as we're going forward. So by the time I get here, I'm really just helping my front line. And now my back line is quite a ways back. Be aware that if you wall ride forward when you're taking your team back somewhere, you're going to get ahead of your team, and the people who are towards the back are going to fall further and further behind. And that's actually causing you to stagger your team. You're separating the timing on your team. You're making it a 3v6. You're making it a 4v6 instead of a 6v6. So you're undoing what would be done in terms of in terms of, hey, let's organize, let's get our players, etc. So please recognize this. This is going to help you. And then there's places we could go for most of this. I really would I think what you probably need is a better understanding of how to take some of these engages when you're going hard, when you're trying to do frontline work as Lucio. I'd like to talk about your beats, but I'm not going to because I only want to give you 3 things. And that is, please go a little more like this for your engages onto the enemy team. Hey, I'm with my team. I go forward up on the wall, and I come in from the side and go. Not I'm on the wall and I kind of come back in and go like this. I'm on the wall and I kind of come back in and go like this. I really want this to be like this, maybe like this, not like this or like this for my engages. That's really what I want. You need to be more comfortable living harder on the wall. Right now, if what you're on the wall right now is 30 or 40%, I need you to turn that up another 10%, another 10, 15% at least. You don't have to 100% live on the walls, but I want you much more comfortable getting up there with the walls, using the walls, and after you make your move on someone, hopping back on another wall. The wall is your defense. It's not just crossfade spam. Maybe this will help. It's not just your crossfade spam that is your defense. It is having the walls that is your defense. And you're at the I'm learning to wall ride. You're diamond, but I'm learning to wall ride. I don't forget about the walls. I'm not ground Lucio who just goes back and forth on the ground. You use the walls some, but we need to actually be comfortable on the walls. We need to use the walls for the level of diving that you're trying to do. You need to be able to wall path better. And this isn't just like, oh, practice your wall riding. It is like an understanding of, hey, I want to use the walls to get up there, pop off the wall to hit my disable, to hit my boop, to, be using the wall for my angled shots in. And then, if I come off to hit someone, fine. If I don't come off to hit them, that's fine too. But I then end up back on another wall pretty darn quickly. Like the wall is your cover, is Lucio. The wall is budget cover for you. And you really need to be getting back on it faster, and you need to not be heading at enemies straight on. Like if you're heading at enemies straight on, especially if you're heading at enemies straight on without a wall in front of you, like you did to the Zarya at the end, and I went into quite a bit, that's wrong. If you go, hey, no, I'd have to follow you straight on. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to fade away. Or maybe I'm going to fade away and then pop over here and do this, which was good. And then, I ride right on through and I flip around on this and hop out, etc. And that's fine. But I'm not looking to spend a lot of time going down here. I'm not looking to spending a lot of time going down here. I'm going to go down here and hit it and then ride out like this. So be it. I'm not going to go like this. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, let me ride up the wall and let me come down and go in like this. Let me ride up the wall and let me come down and go in like this. No, you're not. You're just going to take spam. Like, you're just going to get hit if you do that. So those are the things that I want to give you. You can tell that the fourth thing I'd give you, if we were willing to, would be beats, but I'm not going to let you focus on that because I can tell what you actually want to work on is your aggressive dives, and I'm fine with that. So go work on your aggressive dives, but do it the way that I just said. We want less of the just random crossfading, and we want more of the, hey, I go up the wall and I come in like that, I come in like that, I come in like that. Less of the and now I go like that, or I go like that type thing. And then we pop back onto another wall. We pop back onto another wall. We pop back onto another wall that we can then ride out on. That's what I'm looking for. So I gave you 3 things here. Try to work on them one at a time. Most of those are going to be about 5 to 15% of your brain power. I suspect the crossfades are going to require a little bit more because you have to think harder to avoid it because those are probably just habit at this point. But work on those specific things one at a time. Don't try to work them all in at once. You won't do it very well if you do. And then once you feel like it's stuck, it's locked in there, move on to the next thing that you want to work on. That's how you get better at Overwatch. That's how you get better at really most things in life. So one at a time, focus on it with part of your brain power while playing. Once it really feels like it's locked in, then you get to move on to the next thing. And if it gets worse when you move on to the next thing, and more than like 10% worse, go back and focus on it again until when you move on, it doesn't get more than just a little bit worse. That's what I want you to do. If you or anyone else has questions, go ahead and throw them up in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe. That helps out quite a bit. That like button right down there, you can press it. I'll wait. You can press it. Thank you. Okay. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, what sort of promos, things like that. And finally, if you are looking to get your own questions answered, you can, of course, do that by watching these live and then asking questions. If you're here live, you can ask me questions. I'll answer them like I'm about to do here by and large. And the best way to catch me live, you can, of course, in YouTube, hit the bell for notifications. But the real best way is to join my Discord, go to get notifications, react to get the watcher role, and then you'll get Discord pings. And Discord pings are way more reliable than YouTube notifications if you want to really make sure that you're here to hear things. Okay. Let's see what chat has to say. This is why you don't walk across the bridge, kids. Yep. Torbjorn playing McCree, Brig playing Lucio. This is madness. Creed is good. Fuck. Okay. Fix your crossfade because you're bad, Lucio. I mean, objectively not bad. This is Diamond, mid-Diamond, I think. This player has been Masters. Objectively not bad. Diamond is what? Top 8%? Masters is top 3%. So hard to call that bad. Though in the Overwatch world, we tend to consider anything less than, well, it doesn't matter. Lucio is harder than the memes make him out to be. He can do a lot of things at the same time and has a lot of responsibilities to choose from between moments. Yeah, him and D.Va. Him and D.Va are the you can be anywhere. Like if you think of standard team builds, it's really D.Va and Lucio that are sort of your all-rounders, your sweepers, your where are we going to deploy you guys? You could go forwards, you could go back. Which are you going to do in a team fight? They have some of the hardest decision making in that sense in terms of where are you going to be. What would the average Lucio player want the Mercy on his team to do? Or should the Mercy just ignore Lucio and do her own thing? Well, I don't really like running Lucio and Mercy together. It's not my favorite. Yes, I know. There's the avoided comp. Yes, make be undiveable, etc. I personally think we've recently done a very good job of proving that the Lucio Moira undiveable comp is better in large than the Lucio Moira comp, though the Lucio Moira comp can actually struggle a little bit against the Lucio Mercy comp specifically. But hey, um, to answer the question without that caveat, what would the Lucio player want the Mercy player on his team to do? I mean, you're going to have to. It's kind of going to have to be a win fast. You're both going to have to lean into the offensive part of your kit, speed plus damage boost, and try to win fights quickly. Like you try to stabilize between fights, get everyone healed up, and then try to force the game to win fast. So find something powerful to damage boost. After that, if that doesn't work, or as the fight goes on, the Mercy's probably going to get stuck doing a lot of tank healing because Lucio just can't. But yeah, look to win fast, and then after your initial burst of power, your best move from there is going to be, okay, well, I'm going to have to do a lot of healing, unfortunately, in the back half of this fight, or until we're so far ahead that we can just finish out the fight and then heal up between fights. It sucks, but that's how those two, if you're going to combo with those two, that's what's going to happen. You try to get ahead with the beginning of the fight with your amp speed, with your damage boost, etc. And then as the fight goes on, you get into, okay, Mercy's going to have to try and keep us in the fight from a healing perspective. Yeah. Someone on the Blizzard forum said Reddit Lucios are stinky. I'm sure they did. The average Lucio player should want the Mercy on his team to pick just about any other support so they can stay on Lucio. Yes, that one. Jane mentioned some analysis of Owl once said that Lucios were so good at surviving that it was sometimes detrimental. Their teams sometimes died because they were too selfish. Um, I mean, that's kind of the crossfade spam that I was talking about. I'd need the context. Honestly, Mercy Lucio is a lot of fun for those two. A lot of fun for those two supports if the rest of the team can play around it. Right. Like if you're running, hey, we're gonna run Lucio, Mercy plus Farah plus I don't know. Maybe we'll go with a Tracer plus maybe we're gonna run a Diva Winston or a Diva Ball type thing. No one is diveable, and hey, we're somewhat gonna play around health pack control. Maybe instead of our Tracer, we'll even play a Sombra type thing. Maybe we'll keep the Tracer. Doesn't really matter to me. And we're gonna go, hey, this is what we're doing. No, we're just gonna stay away from you. Like we're gonna stay away from. Let's say we could play this comp. So let's say on one hand we have Lucio, Mercy, Tracer, what did I say? Echo or Farah, doesn't matter to me. And then we're going to run Winston plus Diva. And then on the other team, we're going to run a comp that we've all seen a lot of lately, or somewhat lately, which would be the Lucio Moira. And then what did we have? We had the Reaper Echo version of it, but you could run any version of it. Words, and then we're going to run that with a Winston Diva, and this comp would be pretty darn okay, kiting this comp for a long time while its Echo Mercy gets ahead of the opposing Echo or the opposing Tracer or Sombra, whatever, and then eventually they take their fight. Like this actually would work as a good tech swap to beat this comp if this team then understood how it had to kite, what it had to do, and it's not going to get caught because they're both running the Lucio, they're both incredibly mobile, etc. But the Mercy Echo is going to lead to a lead, plus the Moira won't keep up on heals forever. So this is a situation where it makes sense to beat something that has recently been meta-ish in a limited hero pool meta anyways. How do you think Lucio will be in a 5v5 game? Probably fine. Like being able to reposition people even one or two at a time is going to be pretty powerful. Being able to break chokes quickly is going to be pretty powerful. Yeah, I think Lucio will be fine to good. Could do things that make him worse, could do things that make him wildly better, like expand his aura range again, but should be perfectly fine. Fast break, right. Now breaking the habit. Okay, stuck in your head. Sometimes you get Mercy one trick plus Lucio one trick on the same team. It happens. It happens. You also get double off tank on the same team sometimes. Sometimes you even get double main tank. Sometimes you get two tracer only players. What are you gonna do? Yeah, some good names in here. Some good names in here. Apparently, any hero that can PL should be good in Overwatch 2. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, I think that's going to do it. Reminder, if you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe. And with that, we're going to go out here. Thanks.